Hello, it's Randy Smith with VicinityBrew. I'm going to talk a little bit more about applying additional costs like labor and overhead to the various processes of making beer or spirits for that matter. And I want to start by talking about the brewing operation, the brew house. A couple of assumptions that I think are pretty universal is that it takes about the same amount of time to do a full brew as it does a half a brew. We can argue that a little bit, but in the long run, it's very similar. Another assumption is that your brewers really don't want to sit down and record the actual time that they spend in a brew. It's not, they should be doing other things. And then finally, the cost associated with the equipment, the utilities, etc., basically is fixed or standard across multiple brews. Those are some basic principles that I would put into this calculation. So how do you do this? It's pretty straightforward. Take a period of time, let's say a month, and look at the total cost associated with running the brew house. That might be depreciation on the brew house itself. That could be utilities. That might be salaries. Could even be cleaning supplies. Any cost associated with that brew house over a period of time, again, let's say a month, add all of that up and come up with a cost per period. Then calculate the number of brews that you're going to perform in that time period. Now, nothing here is meant to be actual. Nothing is meant to be exact. It gets you in the ballpark of it. So you can take total cost in a period divided by the number of brews in that same period, estimated. That'll give you a reasonable cost per brew to apply to your brewing operation. In our case, in VicinityBrew, that would be our brew log. Our software application would actually could automatically apply that cost per brew, spreading that out over the barrels of wort that are being put on hand. If you're doing this manually in Excel, that's fine too. Just take the anticipated yield out of that brew and allocate that per barrel. And it's the purpose is to get some cost in rather than zero, and it gets you pretty close. So if you like what you hear, hit the like button, hit the follow. We'll be talking about fermentation and packaging additional costs as well coming up.